Hello and welcome. My name is David, and today I will be discussing my custom React template for Electron.js. If you're not familiar with Electron, I will have a link in the description below. But in a nutshell, it is an open source framework to allow for the creation of desktop applications using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. My template leverages the power of React and the many tools available to make awesome one-page applications for the web with Electron to make desktop applications. This is not a new concept, but there seems to be a lack of apparent templates to build apps for multiple platforms. My template is configured so that it will build desktop applications for Windows, Mac, and Linux. This is still very much a work in progress, but provides the basic configuration to build a desktop application for these three platforms. Unlike other React templates that you have to download from GitHub, this template you can install with Yarn or NPM when you initialize a new React application by using the -- template option and naming the template, in this case CRA-template-electron app. So when you initialize a new application, it should look something like this. Now, while that is downloading, let's have a look at some template code. The file structure you see here is the file structure for a React template to be published at npmjs.com. It is beyond the scope of this video to show you how to publish your own template to npm, but there will be a link in the description. I will also include a link to my GitHub repo for the basic template for a React template. Anyway, the file structure is as follows. 4 basic files in the root folder, package.json, which defines the package name, version, etc. Template.json is the meat of the template and defines the configuration that will be placed in the package.json file of your React app. Here is where the Electron configuration will be defined along with other dependencies. Then you have your basic license and README files. The template folder is where all the React boilerplate goes, and this is where the real customization happens. As mentioned previous, this is a work in progress, so it's still very basic at this time. The boilerplate you hear includes 2 files, important.md and a setup script. Important contains information about the template, and the setup script does a little housekeeping, making sure everything is installed. There are some prerequisites such as Yarn. Even if you use npm, Yarn is needed for Electron to work. And if you're going to be building in Linux or Mac, you will need to have Wine installed as well. The structure of the boilerplate is also custom with a components folder, and each component is in its own folder. There's also an index.js file where all the components are imported to and then exported to make importing components easier and not clutter a page with a lot of import statements. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, to import all of the needed components in one import statement. There are 3 basic components at this time: home, about, and routes. Now, I borrowed the routes component idea from another project called Redwood.js. It's built upon React, but without having to manually type in all of the boilerplate. I like to call it React on steroids. Anyway, the routes is where all the routing is set up to all the components. As you can see from the code here, the home and about components are imported with one statement and keeping clutter contained. The routes is imported into app, which has its own custom boilerplate. Go to my GitHub folder. We can clearly see that a new has been created, and if we go inside, we see what we could expect to see for a React app, but with custom changes. And you simply run the setup script, then use whatever IDE you want to run, and run the dev server to start developing your new Electron desktop application. And that concludes this presentation.